This is News Center at 5.
We're back. You know, there are so many great things to do in the summer in Maine, great things about the summer. One of the downsides this time of year, though, is all the bugs, right? Mosquitoes, black flies, horse flies at the beach, ticks in the woods, and ants in our homes, carpenter ants. How do you know if you have carpenter ants? Well, Mike Peasley from Modern Pest Services is here to tell us, right?
Yes.
Welcome. There are lots of ants. So how do we know if the ant that we see near our home is a carpenter ant?
Carpenter ants are usually fairly large compared to most ants that you see.
Okay.
3/8 to 1/4 of an inch or larger. Usually black, but they can vary with some black and red. A little bit of brown mixed in with it. But they're typically the largest type of ant that you're going to see in this area.
Okay. If we don't see any ants around our house, that does not mean we don't have carpenter ants, though, right?
Not necessarily, but usually with carpenter ants you will see them if you have any substantial population. Carpenter ants are foragers, so they're not actually feeding on the wood. They chew at a piece of wood to nest in. It was where they get the name carpenter ant. Okay. But they don't actually get any nourishment from it. So you usually will see them wandering around the house. This is an example of what they can do for damage to a piece of wood.
This is just incredible. This is absolutely incredible. And this is, I mean, if this is in a support beam or something, this can really be some problematic stuff.
Yeah, and actually, as I said, they're not actually getting any nourishment from this lead. They're chewing at this, picking it apart to establish their nest. They're actually building their house, and while they're building their house, they may be damaging yours.
Tearing down yours.
Exactly.
So that's why, if they're not eating it, that's why you see little sawdust piles around,
You may see sawdust piles if you have this. A lot of times this will be inside of an enclosed wall void. You may not see the sawdust.
Right.
If you have a really large nest, you may at times actually be able to hear them inside the wall.
Scratching around in there?
It will sound almost like if you take a piece of cellophane, crumpling a piece of cellophane is how people usually describe it as.
Interesting.
So you may actually see the ants, you may actually hear them.
Are there certain areas of the house where they're going to attack more than others, moist areas or?
Carpenter ants for the most part usually are associated with moisture. They will infest completely dry pieces of wood, but usually where they initially will start is in areas where there is high humidity. Kitchen and bathroom is very common for people to see them because of the moisture around the pipes.
Sure.
The kitchen, even a little bit of food crumbs that are in the dishwasher or something. It's not uncommon for people to say, I opened the dishwasher and there was a dozen ants inside the dishwasher.
Huh. So what do we do if we have carpenter ants?
If you have carpenter ants, as you can see, they can actually be, fairly structurally damaging.
Right.
It's definitely a situation where you should hire a professional. At Modern, we use an integrated approach to controlling ants, where we apply insecticide gel ant baits that the ants will actually feed on, carry back and feed others in the colony.
Interesting.
So if you can't locate the specific nest, this will still help to eliminate them. There can be multiple nests, so we typically will treat the entire structure inside as well as around the exterior of the building to help eliminate ants that are in the house that may be going outside to forage at this time of year, as well as the ants from the surrounding area that may be foraging, trying to come into the house.
Is there anything you can do that, even if you don't have carpenter ants, you obviously don't want them, is there anything you can do to prevent them from coming at all?
You can certainly reduce the attractiveness of the house to the ants by doing things to reduce moisture around the structure.
Gotcha.
If you have shrubs that are right up against the house, cutting those back away from the house. If you have trees with branches overhanging the roof, at times the carpenter ants will actually go up the tree and drop off onto the roof and get into the house in that manner. Just good maintenance and keeping the house dry.
If people want more information, can they find it on your internet site?
Yeah, our website, modernpest.com, has a great deal of information regarding ants and a variety of other insects, rodents, as well as wildlife that we deal with.
All right. Excellent. I mean, excellent that the service is out there. Not excellent that the ants are out there.
Exactly.
All right. Mike, thank you very much for being here. And we'll take a break and be right back.